Hello, ladies. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to have a fun evening together. As many of you are getting prepared for Christmas Eve tomorrow and Christmas Day, and maybe even New Year's. Some of you are getting ready for New Year's. You're not celebrating Christmas, but I wanted to come live and share some really great holiday recipes with you that I use every year at my home and my kids love. And I don't know about you, but for me, I like to cook, but I don't have a lot of time to cook. And I always wish I had, like, if all of us gave recipes to each other, we would all have new recipes. Hi, Aunt Patricia, how are you? So tonight's recipes are some of my favorite. I typically only make these recipes at Christmas time, so they're extra special. The kids love them so that they don't even get to have them throughout the year. I might make it one other time a year. But it makes it extra special because it's usually just a holiday specific item I make. So I'm going to show you two things. So how is everybody doing? Is everybody ready for Christmas? Are your gifts wrapped? Are you cooked? Today I wrapped gifts late in the day with Brad. I started my day baking a cheesecake, my famous cheesecake I showed you last month. Serving that tomorrow night. And then I made 2 sheet pans of homemade lasagna with my daughter Lila. Have those in the fridge for tomorrow night. And then the girls and I baked our Christmas cookies. And if you need a good idea with little kids for Christmas cookies, this is a great idea. So if you can probably see them back there on the table behind me. But I make a sugar cookie dough. I learned this from my former mother-in-law. She was doing this with her kids and passed it on to me. You make a regular sugar cookie dough recipe. I can give you that recipe. And then you have regular cookie cutters. Like I have all these cute little cookie cutters for cookies. And what you do is you take an egg yolk. So I have a whole bunch of individual cups like this. I put just the egg yolk in the cup. And then I have food coloring. So I usually try to buy the healthier food coloring. And each cup has a different color of food coloring. And then what I do is I mix it up with the egg yolk and the food coloring. And I have these little paint brushes that are specifically for this task every year. And I cut the cookies out, put them on parchment paper for the girls. I have an array of sugar, like colored sugar. So they paint the cookies first. And then they have an array of sugar that they can sprinkle on and decorate the cookies. They're super cute. It's like an art project. And so my girls have been doing this since they were like 2 years old. So of course, when they're little, it's messy, but it's fun and they love it. So now as they're getting older, it's getting more intricate detail. It's much more crafty, but it's a fun cookie. And the cookies are really good to eat. So it's not just painting, but it's a fun activity. And usually we have friends over and they do it with us, but this year we didn't. So that's what I did earlier today. Hi, Kim. Hey, Tulsi. So if you need a good project and you want that information on the cookies, reach out to me. I will send it over to you. It's a great, great cookie, fun day. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. So tonight's recipes, I'm going to show you 2 recipes. The first one is what I do actually both recipes are Christmas morning recipes. I think these would also be great for any kind of brunch you might host, bridal shower, or Valentine's Day, or even Mother's Day if you host something. So think outside the box, not just for Christmas if you don't celebrate Christmas, but I do these for Christmas. So the first thing you're gonna need is I'm gonna show you my Parfait. And the yogurt part, you think, oh, Parfait is not a big deal. It's so good. So a couple of years ago, my boyfriend Brad took me to this really cute resort. It's like a boutique-y little hotel in West Virginia. I think it's called Hillsborough Inn. And it had like little cottages and like everybody ate in this main dining area, very antique-y looking. But they served us this parfait and I was like, this is so good. What did she do to this parfait? So I went behind the kitchen because it was small enough you could do that. And I asked to talk to the chef and she told me what she did. So I've been making this ever since. My kids love it. If you like yogurt, you're going to love this. If you're like iffy on yogurt, I think this is going to change your mind on yogurt because it just changes the consistency a little bit. So just what you're going to do first is you need a bowl and you need to get your favorite yogurt. I like to use lower sugar yogurt for obvious reasons. But typically what I do on Christmas morning, I buy a big quart of the Chobani less sugar Greek yogurt, Madagascar vanilla, and cinnamon. I use this on Christmas morning because if there's leftovers, it stays. tonight I just bought a small one, and I'm actually trying this one for the first time. It's the Chia Bani Zero Sugar Vanilla Yogurt. I like vanilla yogurt, so I prefer the vanilla, but I would presume you could do this with any flavor that you like, any flavor of yogurt that you like. I'm just gonna dump the yogurt into the bowl. And it's kind of nice too, because if you are a portion control person, you certainly could make this a portion control dessert for yourself, especially if you're using one of these sugar-free yogurts. If you love a little sweet something at night, this is a great option for you. I generally speaking eat a lower sugar diet, and I always watch the sugar intake because sugar is my nemesis. So for me, it's helpful. So the other thing you're going to use is one of two things. Most of you would probably typically use either a KitchenAid stand or a handheld mixer. I personally, just for reasons, since we're just doing this fast tonight, I have the Pampered Chef. I love this product. Who has this product? The Pampered Chef Whipped Cream Whipper. Okay, so this thing is awesome. It makes whipped cream so fast, and it's great when you don't have to like take out an instrument to do it. So I'm just taking regular whipping cream, whole whipping, oh, I just spilled it. Whole whipping cream, and I'm just gonna pour some of it into the whipped cream maker. I'm just gonna I'm thinking that's probably maybe a little bit more than a quarter cup. You can kind of just eyeball it. It's whipped cream. So when it comes to whipped cream, I mean, you can't do too much, right? It's whipped cream. It's, you know, it's like the same way I feel about vanilla extract. You can't have too much vanilla extract. It's vanilla. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whipped cream in there. I put the lid on like this, and you just pump it. So I'm just going to pump it. So this, just so you see this handle right here, goes up and down, and you pump it, and it whips the whipped cream. I'll show you. And I'm going to add some things to it, but I'm going to go ahead. Hey, Chanda. Oh, of course you have it. Chanda used to sell Pampered Chef. But the whipped cream whipper from Pampered Chef is one of my favorite products. I use it all the time. I don't really make whipped cream that much, but when you want to make it and you want your kids to help you do it, you don't want to take out the blender, take out the KitchenAid. It's so nice to have this. But hands down, if you have a kid who's a picky eater, and you want them to eat more protein, it's the best. It will make the best scrambled eggs you'll ever have. I put eggs in here with like salt and pepper and a little bit of milk, and do the same thing. And my kids are always like, these are the best eggs. They're so light and airy because it pumps air into them, so they're not dense and heavy and dry. Oh, it's the best. It's the best eggs you'll ever have. So if you don't have one of these and you need a girl, I've got a girl for you. My friend Jess is a Pampered Chef consultant, and I can hook you up with her. She's awesome. I also love Jess because she also shares a lot of really great healthy recipes. Her son has a nutritional health issue where he has to eat keto. So here, I want to show you this. So she does a lot of healthy alternative, which I love so much. So look at this. Let me show you how cool it is. I have it all over my hands because I've made a mess, but let me show you how cool this is and how fast was that. And it's great because if you have little kids, they can do this on their own. How fun would that be for a little kid? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add to the whipped cream. I'm going to add some vanilla extract. I'm just going to couple dashes in there. Again, you can't have too much vanilla. That's just my rule of thumb. And to sweeten it, what I like to do to sweeten it is I like to use Swerve confectioner sugar. Again, I like to keep the sugar low, and I buy the lower sugar yogurt for a reason. So I'm not going to add real sugar to this. You certainly can. You can totally use real sugar, but I promise you this. Nobody will know that you've used Swerve confectioner sugar to sweeten this. They'll have no clue. You cannot taste it. And just as a mom, it makes you feel better knowing that there's a little bit less sugar in all the sweets they're getting this time of year. It makes me feel better. And like, you know, for me, for example, I love eating this. So the next day, I don't feel as guilty. So I'm just mixing. I just kind of pumped it in there to make sure it's mixed up. So now all I'm going to do is take that yogurt that's in the bowl. I'm going to take the whipped cream mixture, and I'm just going to fold it in together. Okay, so yogurt, vanilla yogurt, your favorite. I like the Greek. But if you don't like Greek, I'm sure you can definitely do this with any kind of other yogurt. I'm just going to take the whipped cream. Sorry, I don't want to bang. I don't want to. It's a mess in here. Okay, so I'm going to take the yogurt out. See how that whipped cream in there? I'm gonna take all the whipped cream out of the whipped cream maker into the yogurt and fold it in. So again, if you're just catching me, I'm making a parfait that I make every Christmas morning for my family. And what I do is I do Christmas dinner and I'm just folding it. I'm just taking it and folding it into the yogurt, just folding it in so it's still light and airy. And that's all it is. Okay, you might think that's so simple. It is so simple, but it's so good. Now all I do is I take a pretty cup of some sort, okay? And you can layer it if you want to for kicks. Like you can put like some berries at the bottom. Now what I typically do on Christmas morning, I usually buy one of those frozen bags, the Very Berry Cherry blend at Trader Joe's. I let it defrost in the fridge overnight and then just put that in a bowl and I serve that as the topping because it's kind of like naturally sweet from the cherries. And that's my topping. And I serve it with like a little bar of coconut, raisins, granola, so people can put their own toppings on it. But for tonight, if you're having a dessert, you can just spoon it into your cup. And I have one of my bourbon cups here that I'm using. I'm just gonna spoon it into the cup like this, like that. Doesn't that look good? And then it looks like whipped cream. But it's nice too, because this yogurt has, let me tell you how much, this yogurt has, if you use the Chia Bani yogurt, it has 5 grams of carbs and it has, let's see here, 11 grams of protein. So it's a good protein source if you're needing to get some extra protein in your diet for our evening snack. And I'm just gonna put some sliced strawberries on it. Now again, Christmas morning, I serve it with that Very Berry Cherry blend, frozen fruit in the morning. It's so good, you guys. I'm gonna need a spoon. I love that. I usually make the whole container. I usually buy this container. Let me show you this one here. This is the vanilla, the lower sugar vanilla cinnamon. And I pretty much make the whole container and there's leftovers. This tastes so good. It's not too sweet. It has just the right blend of texture of like the whipping cream makes the yogurt less dense. So if you have a texture issue with yogurt, or you have a kid with a texture issue with yogurt, this breaks it up. It's such a good treat. It's so yummy. So I hope you guys enjoy the yogurt parfait. My kids love it. You can do so much with it. Some of the granola that I like to use for it is I buy keto granola. And I don't eat like necessarily a keto diet all the time, but I just eat a lower sugar diet. So a lot of the keto things tend to be lower sugar. So I love this one. Peanut butter crunch is really good, keto and co. This one's regular. Trader Joe's has some great granola. They have a grainless granola, so if you have a gluten issue, this one is just their fruit and seed granola. So I usually buy a lot of the granola from Trader Joe's because they have lots of different options. Put that on top for breakfast. It's so yummy. Okay, so my next recipe. I have to also show you, I am a Pampered Chef lover. So my next recipe is one of my favorites, my kids' favorites. And it's something I make every morning for Christmas morning. I usually host a brunch here with my kids, their dad, my boyfriend, and my sister's usually here. Whoever else shows up is fine with me. And I got this recipe a long time ago in the Penzi Spices. They used to send out a catalog, like a spice catalog. This is the brand Penzi Spices. And I saved it. Look, it's still on the ripped out piece of paper. So it's a baked oatmeal. Okay, baked oatmeal. Have any of you ever made, the ratio. Okay. Have any of you ever made a baked oatmeal before? They're so, so good. Okay. So let me show you this, the ratio. So I kind of do the ratio. Somebody asked me what's the ratio of yogurt to whipped cream. I would say it's pretty half and half. I try to make it maybe a little bit more yogurt to make it more balanced, but you can kind of just like do half and half. If you think it's too much, just add more yogurt or add more whipped cream. But I stick with like half and half and then go from there. Hope that helps. That's my ratio. Okay, so starting with the baked oatmeal, my favorite thing in the world to bake things in is my deep dish baker. This is an old one. I've had this such a long time. This is the lid. This is the Pampered Chef deep dish baker. And I have had this thing for like 15 years. You can see how used it is. It's part of their stoneware collection, but I love it because it evenly cooks the food, and it makes it easy to cook in, clean up. It has a lid on it, so when you put a lid on it, it makes sure it cooks in the center. You know how you cook gooey things sometimes and the center doesn't cook? So this will make the center cook. So I'm not gonna bake this with you tonight, but I'm gonna show you how to put it together and what it looks like, but I cook it in my deep dish baker. If you don't have this product, any kind of baking dish like this is great. And if you have a lid, it makes it even better. If you don't have a lid, just get foil so that it will cook through the center. So the first thing you're gonna do is I'm gonna actually I actually usually do this the night before Christmas Eve, just so in the morning when I wake up Christmas morning and the kids are excited to unwrap their presents, I can come down and assemble it right away because it cooks for about an hour. So just if you are taking notes, I can always send you the recipe, but if you're taking notes, it is gonna cook for about an hour at 350. So 55 to 60 minutes for 350. So I'm just gonna get a Ziploc bag because I'm just doing the prep work now, so it makes it easy for me Christmas morning. I'm gonna go ahead and measure out just regular oatmeal. So you can use gluten-free oatmeal if you're gluten-free, if you have Quaker oatmeal, whatever works for you, whatever you have in your cupboard, I would just use that. Just don't use the steel cut oats. Steel cut oats measurements are different. So it's going to be, the measurements are 2 cups, 2 cups, 2 3/4 cups. So this is old-fashioned oats. So it calls for 2 3/4 cups of old-fashioned oatmeal. If you're using quick cooking oats, it's only 2 1/4. Okay, so if you're using the old-fashioned, which is what I'm using, you're doing 2 3/4 of a cup. So I'm doing that. I'm just putting it all in a Ziploc bag because I'm gonna prep it now and I'm gonna put it together Christmas morning. And this is one last thing I have to worry about. So I'm putting all the oatmeal in the bag. The next thing I'm gonna do is add to the oatmeal, I'm gonna add, how much cinnamon? Half a teaspoon of salt. So I just already pre-measured the salt. And I'm gonna add cinnamon. So this recipe only calls for a teaspoon of cinnamon, but I have a personal belief about cinnamon that you cannot have too much. So again, with the vanilla, you can't have too much cinnamon. And you know how much I love cinnamon. I've told you before, I have every kind of cinnamon known to man in my cupboard. I buy them from Pensy Spices. You hands down will not find a better quality cinnamon than the cinnamon you can purchase from Pensy Spices. They have different blends, from different regions around the world. I am using the Vietnamese cinnamon right now, which is the strongest cinnamon you can get. It's very, very potent, and it calls for a teaspoon, but I usually put at least a tablespoon, if not more, in there. So I'm just going to do a tablespoon for now. I might add more Christmas morning. Actually, I'm going to probably add a tablespoon of Vietnamese and a tablespoon of the Pensy's blend, which is like a blend of all their cinnamons they carry. So I just put all of that in here in the bag, okay, for prep work. And then all I'm gonna do is let that stay in the bag and add 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Now, when it comes to brown sugar, you can definitely reduce your sugar intake and use the Truviva. Let me show you what it looks like. I think I have some here. Yeah, I do. Okay. I have a special cabinet that has all of my lower sugar stuff in there. So it's this Truviva brown sugar is lower in sugar and it tastes really good. So it's made with stevia and sugar blend. So it has 10 calories per teaspoon, but the carbohydrate count is lower. So if you need to eat lower sugar or you're trying to be healthy this season, this is a good alternative. And again, you can't taste the difference. I make this with my apple pie and you cannot taste the difference. But for this time, I'm just doing regular sugar. Doing regular brown sugar. I have my canister here and it calls for 2/3 of a cup. So I'm just gonna measure that brown sugar. And you know, obviously brown sugar is always measured packed. So I'm just gonna pack it in there in the cup and put it in the brown sugar into the bag with all of the oatmeal. So I'm just gonna zip this up and this will stay in here until Christmas morning, okay? And then I'm just gonna put it inside my baking dish like this. Okay, so it's all where I need it. Now what I'm going to do is just put together the wet ingredients. So my wet ingredients will be put together for me in the fridge. I don't have to worry about running out of milk because it's all going to be mixed for me right now. Hey, Sarah, we're making my baked oatmeal right now. So I already put down my dry ingredients. Now what I'm going to do is 3 1/3 cups of milk. Whatever kind of milk you want to use. I have used almond milk before or coconut milk. It does work just fine. So I already have this measured. I'm putting it into a plastic container so I can easily just store this in the refrigerator because nobody's going to take this out and accidentally use it because it's already mixed together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my 4 egg whites. And I already have these pre-measured. I'm using real egg whites. I saved them. I'm always proud of myself when I do this because earlier I told you I made the cookies with the kids. We did the painting and we used the egg yolks. So I saved all the egg whites so that I was able to not waste them and use them in this dish. There's 4 egg whites in this container. I'm just going to add the egg whites to the milk mixture. Okay, so it's all together, just like in a container like this, one of my Rubbermaid containers. And then I'm going to add vanilla. I like to use good quality vanilla. I'm also a vanilla snob. And cinnamon and vanilla and wine, I'm particular about. But hey, we have to be particular about some things, right? That we are, you have a certain taste for things. So this recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And again, I don't ever believe in just a teaspoon. So I'm adding probably more like a 1/2 tablespoon. And I'm using double strength vanilla. This one is the Pampered Chef one. I ran out of my Penzeys one, and the Pampered Chef one is just as good. So I love double strength vanilla. It gives more of a punch because it's double the strength. Penzeys Spices, Pampered Chef, both have a double strength vanilla. It's so good. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, vanilla extract in there. And then the only other thing I need to add to this is oil. This recipe calls for vegetable oil. I don't ever have vegetable oil in my house, but I have liquid coconut oil. So I'm just going to use the coconut oil. And I do that because I forgot, I add coconut to my mixture. I got to tell you that. I forgot to bring it over here. I'm just going to do I'll put the coconut oil in here, a teaspoon of coconut oil into the wet ingredients. And I forgot a step because one of the things I do is, I don't know, if you don't like coconut, don't do this. But does anybody love coconut? I love coconut. So what I do, so all this wet ingredients are all put together for me. They're going to marinate. The vanilla is going to make everything taste extra yummy. I'm just going to keep it in my refrigerator till Christmas morning. Let me show you what I do. Okay, so this is going to stay together like that. Okay, in my dry ingredients, I forgot to add this. I think I have some right here. The coconut. I add shredded, unsweetened coconut to my dry ingredients. Yeah, I have some right here. Okay, I'll show you. I use this. Unsweetened coconut. I don't like to buy the sweetened stuff. It's so sugary. You don't need the extra sugar, and the coconut is so good. This is really fine coconut, so it looks like snow. So I usually put about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of coconut into the dry ingredients. So I'm going to add that now. So I almost forgot. And this goes into the dry ingredients. You can kind of gauge how much you want to put in there. I just did 1/2 cup. So the coconut goes into the oatmeal mixture, and that will stay together for Christmas morning. So all I do now is the morning of, I spray or oil my baking dish. This is my Pampered Chef Deep Dish Bigger. I love this thing. Spray and oil this. I dump all of the oatmeal mixture in the dish, and I combine my wet ingredients in the dish. I put the lid on it and bake it for an hour. And it is so good, you guys. Your kids are gonna love it, and it makes a really nice leftover. And let me show you look at the picture. Here's the picture, the final picture. I'll take a picture of it for you when I make it Christmas morning, but it's so good. And then what I do is I do a topping bar. I do a topping bar of raisins, cranberries, fresh fruit. They can add, I always make my candied nuts every year. Those of you who came over for my holiday sip and shop Candied nuts are out there. They have the yogurt, or the Parfait they can even put on there, extra milk, more brown sugar. So there's a whole bunch of different things. Granola, they can add to their baked oatmeal. It's so good. They all love it. And it's higher in protein because you add the egg whites to it and add the milk to it. So there's definitely some tips that you can do with the baked oatmeal to make it a little healthier. You can reduce the sugar. You can buy gluten-free oatmeal. And, you know, adding the egg whites adds a little extra more protein for you, but it's really light and airy. And when you cook it in the deep dish baker or something with a lid, the center won't be gooey. You know how you bake a pie sometimes and it comes out and the center is all wet and gooey? That's why I like this dish, because I use the lid that comes with it, and it makes sure everything is completely centered. It's set, like the whole, it's almost like a souffle almost, in the sense where it rises and it's set. So that's everything you put in here. Make sure I didn't miss any of the ingredients. Yep, that's it. It's so yummy, so easy. Who's gonna give it a try? So these are my two currently famous recipes I cook every morning for Christmas morning. My kids love it, they all love it, and then I usually serve everything with some sort of scrambled eggs or a quiche that I make, and that's it. Do you guys have any special recipes that you make for the holiday season, for Christmas Eve or for Christmas morning? I always think it's fun learning family traditional recipes. So that's mine. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you try it. If you would like the written out recipe, just either comment below recipes or direct message me and I'll send it over to you so you can have it in writing and add it to your recipe collection. But Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate. And thank you for watching my live in my kitchen. Thanks for watching my kitchen show. Okay, I'll send it to you, Patricia. Thanks for watching my cooking show. I kind of think it's fun. And I will see you next week with some more fun videos with your skin and makeup. We are going to take Friday off and Saturday off for the most part, and do all of the family things that I need to get done, finish wrapping presents. Almost there. So it'll be a good time. I hope all of you have a great Christmas, and I'll see you on Monday or Sunday. Yeah, Monday. I'll see you Monday. Have a great night, ladies. Thank you for watching.